ua maawai lai le taeaole nei te tasi fo'i o alo le tunu ia po te mā fo'i lo fo'i le soifua Jack Thompson le awa masani an tau ua fo'i le i ta'alonga fo'i fa professor le nei tunu whalakapi po le American football the Throwin Samoan na amata mai lana ta'alo fo'i malana aonga mai Washington State University le tasiva fitulima e o atu le tasiva fituono fitu ma le fituvalu ia ma le fituiva la ia na vei o ia ma first round draft le third overall na piki ai lea fitfide Cincinnati Bengals ma na ta'alo ina le tasiva fituiva ele tasiva valulua mai na o tufo ina ta'alo le tasi fo i o au mantua fo ile au Tampa Bay Buccaneers le manumalo i le Super Bowl tausangal nei ia le au le nasa ta'alo ai ia le sunga ia Jack Thompson tasiva valtolu ma o tau vanga fo le Heisman Trophy i le tasiva fitu valu na tuwi vai i le sunga Jack Thompson se tasi o Samoa i longa i le ngata ta'alo ai o fafo tu fo i le tunanga pa business wa ve fo ia ma mortgage broker ngadue fo i tunanga i ngadue fo i tonu o fatupe ngadue ina ia la tu fo lo fatawina ma fatau mai ia fale fo i mafanua te mina le meita o ma wa sava no tau e fa atranoi fo le sunga ia Jack Thompson il tato proclame ma ste mo mole ua wala udia i ma wa sava no mo le sunga ia Jack Thompson ma la fa marua tu fo malo le tunu e si le fia ma mangla ma le fo le sunga Jack Thompson ngan pa Samoa ai fa mai le la vala na fa Samoa mo le la tua to i se manga tanong fa Britannia dal flava Jack Thompson.
Dan, how are you doing?
Oh, fine, thank you. We're on the radio right now, so yeah. I just wanted to welcome you to Radio Samoa, streaming live and for our audience worldwide, and I wanted to welcome you to on our radio.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the introduction. I honestly I understood about 90% of that, but and I'm very grateful that you have me on your show. Like I said, I apologize for not being able to speak fluently, but that doesn't in any way lessen my love for being a Samoan and being very proud of my heritage.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to can you tell our audience who are listening about how you started out in Washington State, because you did make some mark in history in terms of records in attempts and completion and touchdowns in your career at Washington State, and also moved on to the professional level. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was, just starting from the beginning. I was born in American Samoa in 1956, and my dad left the island in 1957, and sent for me. Well, actually, he sent for my mom in '58, and later sent for me in 1960. And so I've been here ever since. And they came to America with the dream, like many people who go to the United States, dream of creating a life for their family and providing education, and that's exactly what they did. And there are 5 Thompson kids. I'm in the middle, and all 5 of us got a college education. That's one thing my mom and dad really wanted to have happen, and that's happened. And 2 of my sisters, I have 3 sisters and a brother. 2 of my sisters, our younger sisters, followed me at Washington State University. So there are 3 Cougars in our family.
Mm-hmm. And you move on to the pros. You're married now, and how many kids you have?
Well, I have 2 boys,
okay.
Jack and Tony. My son Jack lives in Spokane with his wife Tennille and our 2 grandsons, Tanner and Peyton. And our son Tony lives in Pullman, Washington, where Washington State University is, and he actually teaches in our business school there. And he just had his first son a little over a month ago, and so we're grandparents to 3 grandsons. So we're very happy, very blessed. And my wife Molly and I live in Seattle, where we both grew up, and both our sons live in the eastern side of the state. And we try to go see them at least once a month, whenever we can. It's like a 4.5-hour drive.
Okay. Well, also wanted to congratulate you for inducted in the Polynesian Football Hall of Fame. And how was that feeling? How was that?
Well, it was. I think it is the greatest honor that I've had, from football. As you mentioned in your introduction, in '79 I was drafted by the Bengals, third pick. You said this, and third pick in the draft, and didn't have the NFL career that I hoped for, but made a lot of great friends. It was a great experience. I played 6 years, and in 2014, the first year that the Polynesian Football Hall of Fame came to be, I was fortunate to be in that class, and with Junior Seau, just to name a few, and it was Kenny Niumatalolo. We're the 3 Samoans that were inducted.
Yeah. Well, if you had to redo the past, what would you redo over in terms of your college and football career?
I played baseball. my body would be better either that or golf. Because I've had like 14 surgeries, and football is a tough sport. And I separated both shoulders, tore my knees, my left knee, broke my hand, had neck surgery. And I played quarterback. So you can only imagine the brothers that played really hard-hitting positions like linebacker, Troy Polamalu, and then you have brother Jesse Sapolu playing offensive line. That's where the real beating takes place. And so it takes a tough person to play the sport, and I think that's why you have a lot of Samoans being very successful, playing the sport of football, because we are a tough race. There's no two ways about it. The Samoan culture has put in more football players than any other minority by far. It's amazing, and I'm very proud of the legacy that I was a part of. You
went to Tampa Bay Buccaneers in '83, and you became the team's starting quarterback. What was the feeling when you saw Tom Brady playing the Tampa Bay Super Bowl?
Yeah, it was. He's an amazing guy. Just watching this guy, what's 43 years old, and he's playing like he's 30. And you get a lot of credit. He's a great leader. And I was happy for my former team, in the city of Tampa to win their second Super Bowl. That was quite a game, and I didn't realize I didn't expect the Buccaneers to dominate the game like they did.
Yeah.
Particularly when you have Patrick Mahomes on the other side. It was quite a game to watch. Like I said, I was very happy for the city of Tampa.
Yeah. And since we're on Samoan radio, who are the 2 Samoan football players that you admire and why? Well,
I have to say the old school. I'd have to throw Baba Pisa in there, cousin Bob, because in 1963 or '64, my dad woke me up and said, "You got to come watch TV." And we watched in black and white. We saw Michigan State go against Notre Dame, and it ended up in a tie. It was a famous game, and I think that year Notre Dame, I think he may have tied, for the national championship, and it was Baba Pisa playing fullback.
Yes.
And that's really the first time on a national level that I said, "Wow, this is great." And then my cousin John Cohen, who played at McKinley High School here in Honolulu, he played running back, and then when he went to the mainland and played college football, he was an All-American quarterback.
Wow.
And I looked up to him. He was like 4 years older than me. So when I was in high school, he was playing college at Central Washington. He was a phenomenal quarterback. He reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson. Same size, but he was a little faster, and he had as good an arm as Russell did. But this is back, in the early 70s.
Yes.
And then now, I got to look at, I'm very proud, very happy of Marcus Mariota and Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
I love what they represent. The kind of people they are, and then on top of that, they happen to be tremendous football players. But they represent our people the way I think we would all want to be represented. They're class people.
Yes. Well, our Samoan students in college are getting great sports scholarship, but many are not and have not graduated from college. I mean, not everybody is going to become Tua or Marcus Mariota. What are your views, and how can we improve on the graduation rate for our Samoan students, athletes in college?
Well, I really have to. It goes back to parenting. My dad, I didn't have an option. When I was in school, my dad, he loved sports, but he taught me early. When I was in the 7th grade, I came home with 4 B's and two A's, and that was the worst grades I'd ever brought home.
Wow.
And he held me out of sports for a year. And so, he taught me a lesson early that, it's all about the grades. Sports is great, but, he came to America for us to get a great education, and we weren't going to mess that up. And so when I went to college, I got a free scholarship, but there was no way I wasn't going to get my degree, because that was my dad's dream, and I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't going to mess that up. So education was a very big part of our life, and that's where I encourage the parents to put the pressure on their kids. Don't just come home with trophies. Come home with the degree. Come home with good grades.
Yes,
because that's where true success lies. Is because my dad used to tell me, break your leg, you can, your career can end tomorrow. What are you gonna have? You got to have that. You got to have that degree, because then that's where true success takes place.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things are coming to mind, but I wanted to thank you so much for giving us the time, and for our last minute, can you say anything that you think that I haven't asked for, and what do you think about the future of our, the kids, and of course you just mentioned it, and also what parents need to know when their kids go to school and become scholar athletes?
Well, geez, Dan, I thought this was a 15-minute show, because I can talk for the next 2 hours on that.
Yes.
but let me try to end it with this, okay?
Yeah.
I've been amazed with the proliferation of the sport of football of Polynesians, and in particular the Samoan people in football, and it's been wonderful to see. But I got to tell you, the thing is, I sit back and I look at it, we as a culture have a lot to give to society. And I'll tell you, you mentioned the Polynesian Football Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's a banquet that happens every year that we celebrate the history of great players and whatnot. But the next day is the Polynesian Bowl.
Yes.
For high school, All-Americans. And we bring in Polynesians and non-Polynesians from the mainland, right? The best high school football players in the country come here. And so I'd say 60% are Polynesians, 40% non-Polynesians. And where I'm going with this is because the non-Polynesians, when they come here to the islands and they see the Polynesian kids and the family atmosphere, and what's more, they see the Polynesian kids and the Samoan kids and how respectful they are to the coaches and how humble they are as a people. And, we encourage the non-Polynesians, take this back home because our country needs more of that.
Yes.
More family, more respect, more humility. I mean, think about it. You don't see, by and large, you don't see Samoan players out there that are egotistical and, look at Marcus Mariota and Tua.
Yes, yeah.
And they're God-fearing, family-loving people. That's a part of our culture that we have to give to the American society. And, frankly, they need more of that.
Yeah.
And that's what we represent as a people. And, I think that's what draws, non-Polynesians. When they come to the islands, I see it every year. And I see the Polynesian kids say, hey, it's not me. It's us. We're a team,
Yeah.
Don't walk around like you're Mr. Big Shot,
Yes.
I love seeing that. And lastly, I'll tell you that what's beautiful is that the NFL players, Samoan players and Polynesian players who aren't in the playoffs during that time, they come here.
Yes.
On their own dime. They come here and they go to that, the Polynesian Football Hall of Fame, and they go to these practices and they mentor the kids. And so they have, professional players, Juju Smith, Tua and Marcus. They're there mentoring these kids and teaching them the right way. So, like I said, I can go for another 2 hours, but we as a culture have a lot to give.
Yeah, let's do that more because we also have a local radio. But I wanted to thank you so much, Jack Thompson, the Throwin Samoan, with us on radio. Thank you for your time with us, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, and good to talk to you.
Thank you. Ya Samoa o le tenanga na masunga Jack Thompson, stasi for you tama. Po alo le tunu longa nei for tunu United States America ta longa fa professor in la kapi American football. E po se uposala ne fu yo ona ya e portal tai a sela na tu yam. Ai to fa manato to ava to for fa tai sunga ya se yuli tesi sapolu. Ilana leadership for imalisunga ya Jack Thompson ile tulanga ile Polynesian Football Hall of Fame. I'm multi-millionaire. So